So, I finished that chicken. It's time for part two. Enjoy. On up. Yeah, we can just move on. You didn't watch this with us, so we can be quick past it, but have you ever seen End of Days?
I don't recall if I have. I doubt it. Doesn't ring a bell. I'll look it up here real quick.
This is a very 1999 movie. Like, absolutely, like, getting ready. Oh, it's gonna be the end of the world. Devil's coming back. Year 2000. And Arnold action movie built around that. It's a lot of dumb fun. Um, Directed by Peter Hyams, who, yeah, did stuff like The Relic and Time Cop, and I guess he did 2010, the 2001 A Space Odyssey sequel.
Hmm.
Um, I think he does knowing that this is a dumb Arnold action movie, he does a good job, and it's not doing anything incredibly inventive with any of that. But I will say that Gabriel Byrne, you'll know him from a lot of stuff, like the dad in Hereditaries and Usual Suspects, Miller's Crossing. Oh, the one that we didn't get to, Ghost Ship. Um,
Yeah.
he's one of my favorite devils in film. I think he does a good job. Just kind of his logic about why he's the devil and why he does what he does, and he does a really good job with it. And I think that's really all that I'll say. It's 3 stars out of 5 because it is dumb, but I really like it.
Yeah. Nice.
Um, then another October, absolutely every year. The Lost Boys, 1987, directed by Joel Schumacher. Rest in peace. We decided you were the old man in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to find my old man personified in a movie. Hopefully, it is an '80s one, but we'll see. Um, I mean, once again, this is another one. It's just like just go put it on. Um, I'll leave the guy nameless. A friend of mine on the social medias, the guy that bought some artwork from me. I had posted that I was watching this once. He's like, "Oh, you can't like that movie because of all the fucked up stuff." I was like, "What?" And
What?
then, so I guess this has a little bit of one of those like Hollywood child trafficking pizza parlor type conspiracy bullshit things around it, with the Corey Haim and Corey
Ray
Feldman
Feldman.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wasn't gonna get into it with the guy. Like, dude, no, just. But that being said, it is a highly sexually charged movie. So
Oh, definitely. It is. It is 80s sex.
yeah,
I mean, it's a vampire movie. There's always that undertone with vampire movies, but
sure. Well, like, I mean, is it Diane? No, Diane Weiss is the mom. Jamie Gertz, who plays Star. Yeah, definitely my type. And if I saw this as a teenage boy, I would have been like, "Oh my god!" And she's also like the fiance in the movie Twister. That's like where I know her from.
mm-hmm.
So when I like finally discovered the Lost Boys, and I was like, "Oh, okay," like There's the greased up muscle man playing the saxophone, like my favorite part
Such a
personally.
classic scene. Oh, so good.
Yeah, that song just fucking slaps. I'm like, I would love to go to a fucking like concert like this and just a festival like on the boardwalk somewhere. Like, yeah, the whole once again total vibe, colorful, great soundtrack. I mean
Yeah, you got it.
intro song like "Come to your brother." It's just like, huh?
You got a nice young Kiefer Sutherland in there,
Oh
rocking that
yeah,
one earring. It's so beautiful.
he fucking man, he's got to be the best part of the whole thing, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, but I don't know. Grandpa's pretty good.
Yep.
I yeah, just another one of those. It's 5 out of 5 for me. It's a masterpiece. This is the movie that I think Joel Schumacher should have been making more of.
Mhm.
He's very like wacky, fun adventure, and I liked the two Batmans he did, but I just think, hey, we're Batman fans. We kind of want it to be dark, a little more serious. That's what we kind of want. But his ones are funny and like a whole shit ton of style, and that's where it comes out better. Is here. It's like, yeah, give me a teenage vampire thing set in the 80s. Like, it's gonna be awesome. So we'll move on. We watched the original. Oh yeah, that's right. Steve, one of my new roommates, wanted to watch the It miniseries. I'm always down for that. We've talked about it in the Stephen King list. We will be talking about it again because it's based on one of my favorite books. So we'll just move along from that. Now we got into The Fly.
Mhm.
1986, David Cronenberg, another director we need to get through his list. 5-star movie for me. I love it.
It's
Is this
fantastic.
an October movie? Is it an every year kind of thing?
I mean, it's a body horror kind of thing. It's not like your more traditional horror, like scary Halloween vibes, but it fits in there.
I think it is the body horror, The Fly, but I think maybe the thing that pushes it into that realm is it is a little bit like a mad scientist,
Yeah, yeah.
Frankenstein type thing. Um, I think that always works pretty well around Halloween time. It's just this obsessed scientist. Like, I think From Beyond and Reanimator would work really well. I think we watched those recently, but I don't even think they were in this month, but I'm not sure. Um, yeah, and I easily could watch this every year.
Oh, easily. You could watch
So,
this every 6 months.
yeah.
And it's by far, well, maybe not by far, but definitely my favorite Jeff Goldblum performance. I think he's just fucking fantastic in this.
Yeah, and that's a high watermark because I
It is.
mean, for him particularly, we might have to watch this with you. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you ever seen Buckaroo Banzai?
No,
What
no,
about
I
Earth
haven't.
Girls Are Easy?
Yeah.
Funny roles, not his best movies. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
here. Man, Ian
I-
Malcolm's a real hard one, but I think
Yeah.
this one this is his best because it's so just
I think
him.
it just I think it's because it focuses more like he is the main character. So that's probably why it stands out more, but I mean
Yeah,
he's great in Jurassic Park, he's great in
Life
lots of
Aquatic.
things, but yeah.
Um, and another way you got to sort of take him down a notch with the Ian Malcolm is the sequel. I like the sequel a lot, but he didn't like. He should have won that sequel with his Ian Malcolm, Jeff
Yeah.
Goldbluminess, and he didn't quite get there. So, oh, it says
Yeah.
he's in The Fly too. Is he actually in that?
Through videotapes. He is
Oh,
not
okay.
in that movie.
Yeah, I kind of was like, I don't
he
know.
he is in that movie via watching clips of the first movie.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, he's in so much stuff. I think, and a lot of it is forgettable. He's just been in a shit
Yeah.
ton of stuff. Yeah, this is it. This is his movie. Um, let's take a look at David Cronenberg real quick. There's a lot of his I still need to see, so I have a hard time imagining one of his movies beats this, though. Any of his movies you think could or does?
Hmm. Not off the top of my head. I mean, this is the Videodrome, maybe. He The Fly is very Cronenbergy Cronenberg. Like it's all of the body horror that you love with Cronenberg.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of just his quintessential thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, peak Cronenberg, peak Jeff Goldblum. I think Gina Davis does great. We did we did have a discussion about her boss slash ex or whatever he is. We're trying to
Yeah,
decide, like, is this normal, just guy shit in the '80s, so it kind of sucks, or is he genuinely a creep? And we kind of went back and forth a little bit on it, but I think by the end of it, it's like, all right, he's a creep.
yeah.
He has to lose his
He's
hand and his
he's great.
foot to like maybe be a decent dude after this. Hopefully, he's been traumatized into being a decent human being. Because he's gonna have to help get that fly baby out of Gina Davis. All right, then we watched a decom with our good buddy Neil. He loves these. Don't Look Under the Bed, 1999. More
Is that
style than a lot of these decoms. I think part of it is because it's 90s. The design of the boogeyman and the fact that it's like kind of like doesn't have a specific gender is kind of progressive.
yeah.
I don't know. I gave it 3 stars for what it is, like as a decom, and I wouldn't say I liked it though.
Yeah, to be honest, I barely remember it, and that says something, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not getting faded with us like when we do watch these
No,
sometimes. So if you can't remember this, then it's like can't make that
it was
excuse.
I don't know, it was very like predictable, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, it's I mean it's a
it
decom,
yeah,
so we can just move on.
yeah, not my cup of tea.
Slightly more creepy than other decoms. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they did try out some stuff. I'll give them credit for that. It's not like your safe decom, but it's still very much,
Mm-hmm.
in that genre. You know what you're getting into.
Yes, indeed. Then this is absolutely a classic for me. I had like kind of given it some time and some space for a long while. Like when I first discovered this, I watched it all the time. Donnie Darko, 2001, directed by Richard Kelly, a director that I'm really disappointed to have seen fall off so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe just he didn't keep the Riz going. This one, and very specifically the non-director's cut, that's where he already started to lose me a little bit. Um, the the non-director's cut one has all the mystery and the vibe, and opens up with Echo and the Bunnymen rather than the Cure. I love the Cure, but I think the first time I tried out the director's cut, I was like, wow, this will be even better than this movie I love, and it starts in with like the Cure rather than Echo and the Bunnymen, and it loses me from the
Hmm.
first seconds. I'm like, wait, what? No, that's the perfect song. What did you do? And then it over explains the whole grandma time, and it was like, oh, this, damn it, it got lame. And so I have to say all that because I kind of was like, is this just one of those that I loved when I was a teenager and that just doesn't age as well? But after we watched this, I was like, no, I love this movie.
Yeah, very good. I mean, it's basically what propelled Jake Gyllenhaal into stardom. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
does have some stuff before that, like October Sky, I guess is probably his like first really really big one. But
Bubble Boy.
no, I don't think that's what propelled him into stardom.
It might have propelled him into stardom for our buddy Neil. Like he loves that Bubble Boy. I mean, one of my favorite Drew Barrymore roles.
Yeah.
Maybe got Jenna Malone some more work. I mean, shit. I really remember Maggie Gyllenhaal as real life sister from this.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze's very memorable.
Yeah. Definitely.
um, is it James Duval? That guy? No, that's the guy who plays Frank. There's this guy that played the doctor in ER, I think,
Hmm.
and he's the teacher. He's like, I'm afraid we're gonna have to end this conversation, or like whatever it is. Um,
Oh, yeah, I know the character you're talking about.
he was always in like TV, and then this is one where he's actually in a movie, and I was like, oh, yeah, he does a great job with that role. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess in a way, everybody's kind of bringing their A game.
Yeah.
Um, is it Beth Grant and plays as no? Well, Beth Grant's awesome. She's the Sparkle Motion.
Sparkle motion.
Mary McDonald. She's the mom. Does a great job as that. The dad does a great
Yeah,
job.
definitely.
Um, I mean, even Seth Rogen does a non-Seth Rogen thing. Like he's just a dick
Yeah.
rather than a funny
Speaking of
stone dick.
speaking of Mary McDonald, she's also in Fall of the House of Usher, which we talked about earlier.
Right, that's right. Um, Man, Beth Grant, I want to like see her in something else and see if she's ever like not like that. Because I think she does a great job, but
Yeah.
you kind of naturally just don't want to like her because of that. I think she probably did okay though. I remember her in Extract playing another version of like that type of lady, I guess. Not
Yeah.
totally a Karen, but it's Karen related. She was in the Dark Half. I don't remember what she was in that. Anyway, awesome
Me
movie.
either. Yeah.
Awesome cast. Really, I mean, I don't know. We were talking about like something maybe being too pretentious, like with the Midnight
Yeah.
Mass thing. I think for a teenager, this is like just a fun way to go down some like what is all like time and life, and it hits that tone now. Now you can just kind of have fun with it. But yeah, as a teenager, I was like, this is
Yeah.
awesome. Like, what are they
This
getting
is so
at?
profound. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah. It hits a little different now, but it's still a very good movie.
Hmm. I think he went on. The director Richard Kelly went on to do Southland Tales, which I was like, bleh. And then he tried to come back with The Box, which is that classic story.
Yeah.
And I think I turned that thing off. And I think after
Yeah,
those two, they stopped using him. Like Hollywood
I
stopped
think
calling.
I think I watched The Box, which tells you enough about it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
because and here's the one thing I'll say about The Box is it has Frank Langella in it,
Hmm.
and I think this was right after or like close to Frost Nixon, which is a movie I love.
Hmm.
And he did such a killer job with Nixon, and I think it's because he also did the stage play, and he had Nixon down, and he's in this, and he's like missing like part of his cheek, so he has like the skeleton grin on the
Yeah,
side. I'm
yeah.
like, awesome, I'm down. Like I was so ready to be into the movie, and then yeah, I can't remember anything about it, and I think it is because
Yeah.
I turned it off. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they should try to bring Richard Kelly back, but this was very cool.
Yeah.
At every October, for sure. We are getting close here. I think I'm going to split this up into 2 episodes, which is good because we've been gone for a long time. Then we did Death Spa,
Oh
Um,
my goodness, this movie.
I love it. It's dumb as fuck. 4 stars
So
out of
dumb.
5. It's everything you would think, and a little more. It's
Mhm.
80s. I'll read you the premise. Michael's health club is besieged with a series of terrible murders involving killer saunas and other grisly devices. Michael's wife killed herself a while before, and her brother holds Michael responsible. Michael needs to stop the bloodshed before he loses all of his clients. Yeah, and Michael's wife is like a ghost communicating with their brother, and then they fuse. Does he turn into a
Spoilers.
lady? Or, yeah, I know.
I think so. I
it,
I mean, honestly, it was a little confusing at the end.
oh, yeah, definitely. But,
It's not
like,
what this movie's really about. This movie's about 80s TNA
yeah, 80s
and gore.
TNA and cool synth music. And, like, yeah, it's so dumb, but it is dumb fun.
It's
Um, yeah.
a lot of dumb fun.
I would say that this doesn't get to survive as an October staple, but it is going to be one of those movies where if it's that type of a night and somebody's like, I've never seen Despot, I'm like, oh fuck, we're watching Despot. Like, I might have to wait a little while. I can't come back to it as often as, say, Society, which I still need to show you.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's stupid and awesome.
No.
Shaun of the Dead. Another one of these where I don't think we really got to go over it that much.
Yeah, Edgar Wright, classic.
5 stars.
Simon Pegg,
Is it so? I guess
Nick
there's a couple of
Frost.
things about it. What do they call their trilogy again? It's
Forget, but it's like Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and
World's End.
World's End. Yeah.
Is this your favorite one out of them?
Yes, probably.
I
I mean,
think Hot Fuzz
they
edges it
they're
out,
all good, but
and I still need to. I've been wanting to watch World's End again because I only watched it once. Not that I didn't like it. It's just I watched it. I was like, oh okay,
yeah,
and I think yeah, it didn't quite have the same juice that Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz had.
yeah.
Some people, I got onto a Reddit today where people are like, "What's the best third film in a trilogy?" And there's a pretty long discussion about some people that are like, "I know it's not popular to say, but I kind of think it's World's End." And they explain some good reason, like Simon Pegg really showed a little bit more of his acting ability and the
Mm.
meaning behind it more so. But yeah, I still think Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are just too good. It's like hard to beat them. Um, yeah, I don't know. The whole trilogy is worthwhile though. Edgar Wright, is he a director you love?
I if I hear the name, I'm probably going to be interested in the movie, if that says something about it. You know,
Sure.
like I do enjoy his movies. I wouldn't call them my, you know, my favorite or anything, but I do enjoy everything that I've seen of his. I haven't seen a lot of some of the stuff he's
Yeah.
done, but
Do you like Baby Driver? I never saw that one.
yes, I do like Baby Driver.
So I need to give that a go sometime. I think I'm more ready to try out Scott Pilgrim versus the World, even though it was really not up my alley when it came out.
Yeah.
I think I'd be more forgiving of it now. It's just not my type of movie. It was like emo nerd boy doing emo things.
Hmm.
It was like I'm like I don't know. It's just like now I'm like oh okay. Last night in Soho I turned off. So I don't know. I really love this trilogy. I don't know if he's a guy I love, but I'm willing to give him another shot. Finish Last Night in Soho. Check out Baby Driver. Check out Scott Pilgrim and some of the others, and figure it out. But this one, Shaun of the Dead, is pretty flawless. One of those comedy horrors that I think are harder to pull off than some people think. and they
Yeah.
do it like perfectly. Um, I think yeah, every October that makes sense.
And especially the budget that they were working with to pull this off, absolute miracle. Like
That's
this
true.
is an amazing movie
And so I
for
guess yeah,
being so cheaply made.
it's worth saying that a lot of that has to do with Edgar Wright. Like
Yeah.
very well directed. So even if like I don't know, he doesn't get my ass in the seat just because of his name, like he did a wonderful job with this. So alrighty, so this should actually be nice and easy to wrap up because some of these we've talked about or will be talking about. But getting onto this one, this is not an October movie. It was just one of these ones that our boy wanted to get to. Evolution. I gave it 3.5 stars and I liked it. I'd maybe
Yeah.
knock it down to 3 because I really, it's not memorable to me.
It isn't. I mean, it's very silly, that like early 2000s kind of like making a joke out of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Um does have some pretty good cast. I mean, you've got David Duchovny, Julianne Moore,
Mm-hmm.
Dan Aykroyd,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
Orlando Jones.
and they used not Dan Aykroyd, David Duchovny very well.
Very well. Yeah,
That's how you use a David Duchovny.
yeah.
Oh,
You
well, we
don't
could find
put
out
him in
some
the
other ways to
background
use
and
him, yeah. But
you don't put him in the background and give him 5 lines.
yeah.
You
But
use your David Duchovny.
I think one element of it is this is an Ivan Reitman movie. He did Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop, Twins, Junior, Dave, like silly comedies.
Mhm.
And I just like all those movies a lot more. This is kind of him falling off. Did you ever see Six
Yeah.
Days and Seven Nights with Harrison Ford?
No, no, I didn't.
I wonder if that's worthwhile, like a worth a
Mm.
revisit. But
I
yeah,
didn't remember this, but Ted Levine's in this. The Buffalo Bill.
oh
He's the
yeah,
general.
yeah. We're talking about a great big evolution, like fat person. Oh man, no, but that's sort of what this is. Rest in peace to Ivan Reitman. But a big old silly high concept thing that he knows how to direct,
Yeah,
and good cast. Shout out also to Orlando Jones because I don't think he gets enough work. He was like a staple of Mad
yeah,
TV back in the day for me.
yeah,
Sarah Silverman's in it. Um, yeah, I don't know. But that is the issue. Is I watch it and I'm like, yeah, this is fun, and then the further away I get from it, how much it doesn't stick in my head. Like I kind of can't remember what the story even is.
yeah. I mean, it's a dumb, fun popcorn movie. Put it on with your friends. Talk over it a little bit if you want.
Yeah,
That's
for
that's
sure.
that's the kind of movie it is. It's not bad. It's not great.
No, and it's nice to see. I will say Julianne Moore doing something a little more silly.
Yeah,
Yeah, not an October movie. The Witch, absolutely an October movie. Like
definitely.
I have to watch this every year. 5 stars. Anya Taylor Joy's first movie, at least her first major one that made her a thing for
Yeah, first
everybody.
major for sure.
I'm pretty sure Black Phillip's major breakout role.
Yep.
Um, he
Good old
apparently
Black
doesn't
Phillip.
act anymore. He's a little too rough to handle in the movie.
Well, he just took his paycheck and he went off to live deliciously. So
Yes, yes, that's true. But I think is it Ralph Ineson who plays the father?
yeah, yeah.
He famously talked about. He's like, man, that goat was out to get me. It did not like me. And acting with it was so fucking hard. This is like, yeah. I mean, yeah, totally creepy vibe, and I love the use of language in it. It's in 1630s
Yeah,
New England.
period piece language is very great. I mean, it's Robert Eggers, but he's great.
And I listened to an interview with him where that is a major area for him is learning about the dialect and the language of a specific time and area and really leaning
Hmm.
into that. He did it with the Lighthouse. He did it with the Northman.
Hmm.
Is that his only three so far?
There's only three famous one. He has some
It-
shorts and stuff.
yeah, like he has one called Brothers that it looks like it has the kid in from The Witch in.
Hmm.
Who that kid did he has a really great creepy monologue in it. Like, damn,
Oh yeah,
the kid's really good. And then he's got Nosferatu coming out, which I know both you
I'm
and I
so
are very
excited for.
excited. Yeah.
Oh, so excited.
And, I think The Northman, I'm just not inclined to be that into, like, it feels a little bit bro duty with the Viking stuff.
Yeah, the Viking stuff. It, I think it's the weakest out of his, you know, series of like three
Yeah.
movies,
It's
but
really good, though.
it's
And
still
I
good.
think I need to revisit it and, like, just kind of. Because it's like if you compared it to something like Braveheart or something, it doesn't have like the charm of Braveheart because it's not even trying to
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, it's like some really great stuff in it. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just something barbaric Vikings and then like William Defoe like farting in a ceremony.
Yeah.
It's just a little like, huh. It's like this Robert Eggers loves farts. There's like all this like weird fart stuff in the lighthouse, and it's like yeah, it just slightly fell off a bit, but I think that's me liking the lighthouse and the witch so much that I was
Yeah.
like just tiny bit let down, but maybe I need to give it another go. I mean, the reason why we're not talking a ton about the witch, I think, is because I think you'd agree it's one that you just fucking put it on.
Yeah.
Like I kind of don't want to give stuff away about it. And if you don't get
It's
it, then
definitely,
I don't think you're gonna like Robert Eggers.
yeah, it's definitely one that I think you should watch alone. Like it's not, you don't talk over it, you just like sit down and absorb it.
Yeah, it is one of those where, yeah, to your buddies, you're like, you're gonna need to shut the fuck up to this one,
Hmm.
and like really take in the talking and the writing of it, and just the energy and the vibe of it. Um, clackety 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 clack. It's just the little fucking kids. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess that's worth saying is I went to see this in theaters when it came out with my buddy Devin, and people like went on a date to it, and I think they're like, "Oh, witch," and like it's a date movie, and it's like, no,
No, no, it's not.
your girlfriend's gonna leave you after this to go enjoy the taste of butter and live deliciously. It's like she's done with you, and so like people were walking out of it, they're just like, it was dumb, like, and you're just like, not to pit movies against each other, but I was like, oh, so this wasn't fucking Insidious or didn't
Yeah.
jump scare you enough, like. But this is like whatever they call it now. They call it like prestige horror or like
Yeah. The A24 kind of
yeah.
vibey thing. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm way more into that stuff. And
Yeah.
interesting concept, metaphor, symbolism, vibe. I don't. It's like I either want that or I want Death Spa. Somewhere in between, I don't. I usually don't care for it.
Yeah.
Um, and this one was kind of sad, but Planet Terror. I was kind of excited to check it out again because
Yeah.
2007. I was 2 years out of high school when Grindhouse came out. It was a pretty sweet thing. It didn't do well with a lot of people, but I was all about the whole Grindhouse idea. Loved Robert Rodriguez. I love Desperado. I really enjoy Once Upon a Time in Mexico and a couple other things. But
Hmm.
he's really not aged well for me. He's a little too cartoony and childish.
Yeah.
mixed with the bro dudiness. It's like yeah, isn't my character I just wrote so badass? Like, listen how badass he is, and I know that's sort of the joke, but yeah, I don't know. I still think there's a lot of style and cool imagery stuff you're not gonna get from a lot of directors, so I give it 3.5 stars.
It's got a lot of style. It has almost no substance. That's what I'd say about this movie. It is all style over substance.
Yeah, I think I'm actually taking away my like. I don't think I like it anymore, which is too bad. But if you want a Robert Rodriguez fix, go watch the El Mariachi trilogy.
Mm.
And I mean, El Mariachi, which is the first one he did, it's essentially Desperado, but you should go check that out because that is a great example of what to do to make a movie exciting and stylized with a tiny budget.
Mm.
Like, always kind of switching the shot and doing something dynamic with it. And yeah, I think that's the thing I liked about Robert Rodriguez is his style with the camera. And then as he got more money, he leaned on CGI stuff too much, like Shark
Yeah.
Boy and Lava Girl. And I know that's not meant for us. That's like stuff he made for
Yeah.
kids, but it's just like, yeah, you lost me. You had me when you were like kind of an auteur with the camera, but
Mm.
um, yeah. But if you want to see Rose McGowan with the gun leg and like knife fighting Freddy Rodriguez, the dude from 6 Feet Under, maybe this is for you.
Mm.
uh, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I always go back and forth. This is 1992, Francis Ford Coppola. I can never decide if this is like 4 stars, 4.5, or 5. I
Yeah.
really love it, and it's once again it's an October staple. Um, but I don't know. What is it for you? Is it because it's kind of
I
flawed, but it's so got
it
so
is
much awesome shit.
yeah, it's a very flawed masterpiece, even though that doesn't sound like a thing that can exist.
Well,
It's
I think it is
it's
because
great.
it's like a happy. Well, it's not even an accident either, but it's like Francis Ford Coppola is going for so much stuff with this, like callbacks to old film techniques, and
Hmm.
but then it's funny because it has Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder,
Yeah, and they're
and they're
not
not.
exactly doing the best,
No,
but Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins are doing great. Like
yeah,
I don't know. I will always enjoy this movie and love
yeah.
watching it, even though there are some very stupid, memeable moments.
The children of the night. What sweet music they make. It's just oh yeah, just Gary Oldman like crawling on that wall.
Yeah,
There's so many cool like so I think that's the thing is it swings so big
yeah. You
that it
got
just
like
hits so much.
Tom
Yeah,
Waits eating bugs and shit. Like it's great. Like what's there not
master.
to like? But
Yeah, it's so I think that's what it is it's I don't know for it's somehow a dumb horror movie but also a really classic classy one, and I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it, and that's why I would call it a masterpiece in a way, and I think I am gonna
yeah,
take it back up to 5 stars because I think that's the key. Is I've seen nothing else quite like it.
yep.
First time I ever um, watched it, I was like, "This is dumb." Like I was just like, "I what is this?" And but then it's like I just wasn't looking at it properly. Like the eyes that show up in the sky and then like the blue flame circle, like I remember watching
Hmm.
that he's like, oh, that's an old technique used in this movie and it's a callback to that. And I've
Yeah,
noticed anytime I show this to people who haven't seen it, you're either into that type of stuff or you do have to sort of be told how to watch this.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the things I love about it is it's like no, like he's doing all this callback stuff. I know it looks like kind of old and corny and weird to you, but like that's sort of what he's doing. And
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that are directly from like Nosferatu and the silent film era, and
mm-hmm.
there's just like lots of playing with lights and shadows and all kinds of. It's a fun movie, and if you are a film nerd, you'll like it even more.
Yeah, and I mean just Gary Oldman, man.
Yeah,
Um, might be my favorite Gary Oldman. That's hard to say though,
that is very hard because
because
he
I
has so
like
many fantastic roles.
he really does. I mean, there's it kind of just depends on what like flavor of Gary Oldman you want at
Hmm.
any given night. Because then there's like what's the Fifth Element, the
Hmm.
bad guy in the Professional. I can never remember his
Yeah,
name. Drexel, briefly in True Romance. Like,
yeah,
oh man, but yeah, some of the images, like when he turns into a creature or a beast, you're just like, oh my god, like actually genuinely kind of creepy.
yeah.
And just in a weird way, it rides that line of like this is so weird and cheesy and corny, but then there's actually like that kind of is the creepiest vampire thing I've ever seen. When
Yeah.
he's like the giant, when he had makes love to the one lady in the thing and like the lightning's hitting, he's like that
Hmm.
beast creature. I'm like, oh my god. And then there's also the one where he turns into a giant bat creature, like bat demon thing. Like man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love this movie. We just needed to have this conversation to get it back up to 5 stars.
Yep.
The only reason I think I ever dip it down sometimes is like the pacing is maybe my issue with it.
It's a little sluggish, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
But I
know.
mean, it is very close to the adaptation of the book, which is kind of sluggish anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, whose fault is that really? I don't know.
I got this cool tiny little red book version of Dracula,
Hmm.
and it's like got like that gold page like whatever on the outside.
Yeah.
Man, I need to finish that. I just like having that version of it though. It's just like, what are you, a communist? No, it's just Dracula. Little red book. All right. And then we watched Dracula Dead and Loving It. I had to see it. It'd been years.
Yep. Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, I think it's his last like movie. He maybe directed episodes or did show type things after this, but I think there's a reason it this one kind of was like I think I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Leslie Nielsen, Mel Brooksy comedy movie.
Yeah.
Like it's you know what you're getting into.
And it's a giant parody of Dracula, like particularly Bram
Yeah.
Stoker's Dracula, and it was kind of fun
Hmm.
to watch after that. But I like it. It's 3 stars out of 5. And I don't know, that's the thing. It's I've watched some Mel Brooks that I didn't grow up with, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty funny. But like the ones I watched when I was younger tend to work a little more for me, and I wonder if it's just purely that. Like I'd watched this when I was little, so Spaceballs and Robin Hood Men in Tights, those tend to really work for me.
Hmm.
And there's a couple I still need to see, but we should have done Young Frankenstein probably.
Yeah, I like Young Frankenstein much, much more than this.
I think
But
it was yeah, it's more appropriate for the Halloween season, and it's also just it's a little more thoughtfully written, which I think is the contribution of Gene Wilder.
yeah.
Um, Gene Wilder tried to sort of recreate that with Haunted Honeymoon, which I still need to show you.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think he did it as well. Like their combination was what was so good. Um, like, but okay, so like an example of what I was talking about, Blazing Saddles is one that I just never watched,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh, you have to see Blazing Saddles. It's so funny." And it's like, it is funny. It has its moments, but then I didn't have any nostalgic rose-colored glasses for it a little. So it was like,
Hmm.
and then obviously it didn't help that we had a kind of work friend over that really liked every time they dropped the N word, but it wasn't like in the right
Oh,
way. You're
not,
like,
yeah. You're not
oh,
getting the nuance of this, are you?
yeah, we're not gonna be hanging out anymore, I don't think. It's like, because you grew up in Kentucky is not an excuse, my friend. Well, not my friend, but alright. uh, The Shining we watched. It's always my favorite thing to watch on Halloween night.
Yeah,
And we went hard and we watched The Shining and Doctor Sleep Halloween night.
it was great.
Yeah.
I love both of these movies. I mean, The Shining is probably in my top 5 movies of all time. So, I mean, what is there to say about it? I love this movie. Everything's fantastic.
Yeah. And I mean, we've talked about it in other episodes and we will again.
Yeah.
I give Doctor Sleep 4.5. The only reason it's not 5 is the ending with the hotel. I know they're. I respect it. I know what they're trying to do, but it
Hmm.
gets a little like, let's go to all the stuff you remember from The Shining.
A little bit, but I feel like it gets a pass because it's wrapping up what was missed by Kubrick in The Shining. Like he changed the ending quite drastically,
Yeah.
and Doctor Sleep kind of puts a period on the original Stephen King story and just kind of wraps it up in a belated way.
And I remember thinking this when I was giving it the rating. That's what the half star is.
Yeah,
Is they did as good as they could, but still sort of did this nostalgia bait thing.
yeah,
So it's like if they had gone way too hard on that nostalgia bait, that and but they had the rest of the movie, which is great, then it would still just be 4. But it's like, no, they did a good job with it while still doing it. But it does. I never don't notice it when I watch it.
yeah,
So I'm like, just a little bit. But the fact that we sat and watched The Shining and this in one night, and I
yeah.
don't feel like I got bored. I was like, yeah, of
Nope,
course, we're just gonna
definitely
jump
said
right into
something.
that. It's like, so, and I mean, yeah, the fact that they even got a sequel to The Shining to be that engaging and good and unique. I
Mm,
mean, that's really good. And this is what got me to be like, man, Mike Flanagan, this
yeah,
guy's pretty good. I don't know if he can do any wrong.
yeah.
And it's like, oh,
I
okay, he's
I
human.
think the what works so well with Doctor Sleep is it's very respectful of both Kubrick Shining and the original Stephen King story. Like it was a very tight balancing act that you'd have to pull off.
Yeah.
And I think Mike Flanagan kind of nailed it. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, despite his, my, wavering views about him and his current work,
Sure.
this he absolutely nailed.
Well, and the cast is wonderful. Ewan McGregor.
Oh, so good.
I mean, wonderful. And if I ever run into Rose the Hat, she can stick her thumb in my openly wounded leg anytime she wants and just suck
Exactly.
my shining. With that, we will talk about Doctor Sleep again in the future.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, we got October done. Um, it's been good, Dan.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna split this into 2 episodes so
Yeah, probably a good idea.
we can recover a little bit and be ready to do a review of The Boy and the Heron. But I don't want to wait too long on that one.
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to maybe check out a couple internet breakdowns, see what other people think about it, and maybe wrap my head around Miyazaki a bit more.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I really liked it, but I think I also know a lot less about him than you and some of our friends. And it's like, I wonder if that would
Yeah.
adjust my opinion at all. So that's kind of what I'm going to play around with.
Okay.
All right. Until next time. Bye bye.
But
Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at thejacobwayneshow@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in.